Hey everyone, it's Bob Crossan, editorial director for Waterworld and Wastewater Digest. I am joined today by Jenn Baldwin. She is digital water strategic growth lead for Jacobs. We're going to be talking all about digital technologies and proactive analytics tools. So, Jennifer, thank you for being with us today.
Yeah, thanks, Bob. Glad to be here.
Yeah, so one of this was actually a pitch from your team about these analytics tools and how it's kind of evolving the landscape for water and wastewater folks. Could you talk a little bit about how live and predictive analytics are changing the way that especially wastewater utilities are starting to operate?
Oh, definitely. I've been in this industry for over 20 years now, and so I've seen the evolution that we've gone through, and the data analytics piece has really just exploded, I would say, over the last couple of years. And some of what we're seeing at Jacobs, especially in the wastewater, is really looking at data to help with energy optimization or chemical use optimization. At Jacobs, we operate facilities. We have a group called our Operations Management and Facilities Services group that operates wastewater plants and water plants. And they actually started a digital transformation on their own because they started to see that they have a lot of data that's out there that's not being used, and they wanted to be able to more efficiently operate the facilities. So we've created a solution called Intelligent O&M. We're partnered with Palantir actually to help us with some of those data analytics, and it's been just really cool to see some of the energy savings we've had with our own facilities that we operate, and now we're actually starting to do that with other facilities with clients of ours as well. So it's just an exciting time, I would say, to be in the water industry, especially with wastewater, to look at how we can create operational efficiencies. Another issue that we've seen is also staffing. I think any utility you talk to today, they can't keep staff, they can't hire enough staff. The staff that have that knowledge that can just make those quick decisions are retiring. And so that data analytics has become key to a lot of our clients to be able to help them with staffing issues, to be able to still make those operational decisions, but with the data they have, rather than, unfortunately, if they can't keep the people.
Yeah, it creates almost this like future proofing of legacy knowledge is that since you have the data and you have it from years and years back, you kind of know how decisions were made because of that data, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what we're seeing. And sometimes we see where, because operators we're really there to protect the public health. And
Mhm.
because of that, the operators tend to be pretty conservative in their decisions, which is great. It's very good. But what we're finding with some of the data analytics is we can see where operators are maybe being a little bit too conservative, and we can make recommendations that allow them to still stay within their regulations, stay within their permit, but maybe still save a little bit of chemical or a little bit of electricity as well.
Yeah. Well, I know these technologies are also being used a lot for like the maintenance and asset management part and like kind of helping to create some schedules to make it easier to maintain these things over the long term. Is that something that you're seeing as well? And like, how is Jacobs using this type of technology to do asset management and maintenance?
Certainly. So with asset management, we actually are kind of working in, I would say, in a couple of different spaces.
Mhm.
We have a solution. It's actually called Argon. That's been around for quite a long time. That can work with asset management systems. So it will take condition assessment data from a collection system, gravity collection system. It'll take CCTV data. It'll take smoke testing, any sort of data that's out there, and create a risk score. And from that risk score, it'll actually make a prioritized plan for rehab and replacement, or for reinspection, or for maintenance. And that can then feed into a computerized maintenance management system, or GIS, to help our clients know, when is the next time they should go look at that pipe,
Mhm.
rather than just doing a regular schedule for everything. It can be a prioritized look at asset management in the collection
Mm.
system. We also, again, with our OMFS group, we also have been developing a maintenance planner scheduler tool. And that works I would say almost on top of the asset management program, where, the asset management program will create work orders, but it doesn't necessarily prioritize those work orders. So what we're finding is that we can take a look a little more closely at like wrench time or specialty of that employee, of that staff member, and create like a very prioritized schedule for their workday, and it helps them work more efficiently.
Mhm. Oh, that's really interesting. The idea of the prioritization is huge for me because I always struggle with priorities just in my personal and
I
professional life.
know.
So having something to tell you, hey, this is the priority has got to be really useful, even for plant managers and operators. So
I think so too. I know. I'll admit sometimes I'm like, what do I have going on now? So yeah, I agree. It's like I think sometimes it might be not a bad thing to have someone say, "Here's your priority for the day. Go do it."
yeah, yeah, exactly. Well, where do you see the future business opportunity for these types of tools? Like how do you expect that these will evolve and gain more traction in the industry beyond not just Jacobs, but beyond Jacobs' walls even? Like what does the future of the wastewater industry look like with these tools more prominently available?
Oh gosh, I think the possibilities are almost endless. It's I think things are moving so quickly, it's almost hard to see what the future might hold. But
Mhm.
I really think a lot of it is just going to be um, using that data that we've got to really create actionable information. What I'm really seeing is how do we, we're just surrounded by data. I mean,
Mhm.
that's just the truth. We're surrounded by data. And really what I see the wastewater industry doing is finally saying, oh, wait a minute, I am surrounded by data and I can use that to turn that into actions. For instance, like I said, with our intelligent O&M tool, we can push notifications, at whatever frequency the operator likes to say, hey, I see you're operating this way, but I think this could be a little bit more efficient way to operate. And it just sends them a text message or email that they can say, oh, okay, they can accept it and then makes the change and off they go to the rest of their day. I see more of that type of thing happening where I think it's going to be a little more automated as far as operations go, but we still leave the decisions in the hands of the humans.
Yeah.
I think having that human aspect is still extremely important because if we lose that, then I think it's especially with wastewater treatment or water treatment both. I think it would just we would lose sight of the goal if we don't have the humans involved to make those critical decisions.
Yeah, not to mention too that, you have all these digital tools and it can tell you all of these things. And at the end of the day, if it tells you something to do and it just does it, like say you go into full automation with AI, right?
Right.
The time that it goes wrong, no one's ever going to trust it again, right? So I feel like you
Exactly.
do need that human element to make sure that there is some level of oversight and making sure that, oh, that does not look right. Or yeah, that's good.
Exactly. We've seen that a little bit where, the operators might be a little wary when they first start using it, but then they realize that they still have that decision-making
Mhm.
capability, that decision still sits with them. So they take ownership of that and they realize that, hey, this is just something that's another tool in their toolbox to help them operate their facility a little bit more efficiently. So we've definitely seen that where, but it could be that they might say, oh, something went wrong, so I'll blame the computer.
Yeah.
So, you know,
There
but
still
I
needs to be human accountability too, right?
exactly. So I think there, it's just I think we have to kind of get along with the computers, if you will, but still keep the control in the hands of the people that really know what they're doing. But we also have tools that we're developing as well that help with operator training. So that's
Mm,
another piece that we can do to help with onboarding people where, yeah, we do have utilities have a lot of staff turnover, unfortunately. So if you have a digital twin, we've been creating digital twins for wastewater facilities. And if you have that digital twin, you can do the scenario testing and operator training in a risk-free environment where they see this basically what the SCADA screen looks like, but it's really not impacting the actual treatment process itself.
yeah. Well, thank you so much for talking with me about this. I feel like I learned a
Yeah.
lot about the about these tools and whatnot, and you've been great in explaining it in such a great way. So I appreciate you taking the time to speak with us.
Awesome. Thanks, Bob.